My line of work, success takes many forms. It's not always obvious. Sometimes all you know is that you kept a kid safe. There were never nurses at the Philadelphia Child Welfare Department, and I thought that was wrong. So in 2006, my nursing partner and I founded Child Health Consultants. We wanted our nurses to be in the field, visiting families who had been reported, working with the high risk teams, especially with children and families where there were multiple medical issues. Our nurses could visit as often as they needed, not following what is prescribed by the medical insurance model. And our nurses bridge the gaps between the healthcare providers, social workers, and families. We often received a referral from Children's Hospital. They had a practice of making a report for a child who had 3 admissions for diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA. That's a very serious complication of diabetes when there is no insulin in the body to transport glucose around. JK was admitted to the hospital in DKA. He had a change in his mental status and a serious elevated blood sugar. The report alleged that he had a mother who used substances, was truant, as well as with his siblings being truant, and that he was mostly in charge. So, my first visit, I knocked on the door. JK opened the door, but did not meet my gaze. I asked for his mom. I heard from upstairs, "I'm too busy to visit with you. It's his disease that got the damn report. You visit with him." Okay, baby steps, I said to myself. I'll give her a call tomorrow and we'll talk about how important she is in supervising and supporting him. So I followed him into the kitchen. What a mess I found. Dishes all over the place, food on the walls and the floors, empty cans of open food. I was a little bit nervous about talking to him as I watched his eyes dart around, watching his younger siblings and chastising them. "Tell me about your diabetes. Is it difficult for you to manage?" "No," he said, "it's fine." "Okay, then, can you please get your supplies?" He disappeared for about 10 minutes, and when he came back, he had only the bare necessities, no emergency supplies. He had a glucometer, which is that little instrument where you measure blood sugars. He had insulin and syringes, nothing to test his urine to see if he was going into DKA or to give him if he had very low blood sugar. I looked at his glucometer and he only had 2 readings from the last 2 weeks. He should be testing 4 times a day. "How about if you test now?" I asked. He tested, and of course, he was very high. "Okay, what do you think we should do now?" I asked. "Well, I know I need to take insulin. I don't know how much. I know I need to drink water. I can't test for diabetic ketoacidosis because I don't have my supplies." "Okay, well, let's start with the insulin." And I helped him figure out how much he should take. So I went to the stairs and called up to mom to let her know about this elevated blood sugar and to ask about his supplies. She answered, "I don't have a car. I don't know when I'm going to get there. You have a car." "Okay," I said, "how about if I go get the supplies?" And I left. When I arrived back at the home, JK and his mom met me at the door, and it was clear my visit was over for today. The next morning, I shared with the social worker my concerns. She said, "Well, mom told me he just ends up in the hospital because he eats candy." "No," I said, "he ends up in the hospital because he's not getting his insulin. He doesn't make insulin." We agreed to meet the following day so I could do a little diabetic teaching. I called the school nurse who didn't know him, and I tried mom several times. No answer. So I went back to the house at 5 o'clock. When I arrived, JK opened the door and walked away. I saw mom was asleep on the couch, so I asked, "Can you wake your mom up, please?" He tried really hard. He shook her and yelled her name. I was starting to panic, and I could see he was. But then she finally opened her eyes, but was clearly incoherent and fell back into a sleep. "Is there an adult who might come and stay?" I asked, "while your mom's not feeling well?" "No," he said, "I can handle this." "No, I need to let the social worker know." So I called the social worker who agreed to come out. He decided he would call his father to come and get the kids, but not him, he made it clear. When he was talking to his dad, I could hear his dad yelling at him. And when he hung up, he was near tears. "Okay," I said, "I'll read to your siblings while you gather their things." When the social worker arrived and saw mom, she told him he needed to leave as well. So we called his grandmother. Grandmother was very nervous. "I never took care of a kid with diabetes," she said. I told her I would be there this evening and we would do Diabetes 101, which we did for several hours that evening. I visited daily and she had my phone number, and I began to see some changes. Grandma and I had to work to teach an adolescent boy that he was worthy of having an adult take care of him, that he could be a kid. He was worried for his mom, mad at his mom, worried about his siblings, and mad at his dad. We enlisted the help of the psychologist in the endocrine clinic. And then, after about a month, I began to see this adolescent boy shine. He was taking part in his care, he was going to school, he was feeling a lot better. After about 2 months of visits, I told him, "You don't need me to visit anymore." He balked. "No, you can keep coming." I think he liked having the attention. However, I agreed we would text with one another. So we did for several weeks. And you remember I said, success comes in many forms. I remember the last text. "Miss Kathy, the diabetic nurse says my sugar is in control and I'm doing real well. Thank you."